Wubin lay unconscious on his hospital bed as the machines around him beeped steadily, marking the rhythm of his fragile life. His mother sat beside him, clutching his hand tightly, her eyes brimming with tears. She gently kissed his hand, overwhelmed with guilt and sorrow. She regretted not being there for him all this time, having believed that they still had enough time to mend their strained relationship. She realized now that there was no such thing as the right time. She made a promise to him that if he woke up, she would never leave his side again. She vowed to love him and protect him the way he deserved to be loved. She glanced at his face, desperately hoping for a sign of consciousness. But Wubin remained still, showing no movement. Refusing to leave his side, she resolved to stay with him no matter what. Despite the pain, she felt grateful that he had survived. She continued to pray and hope for his recovery, her heart heavy with both fear and love. Deep within, she swore that the people responsible for hurting him would face consequences, especially Kim, whose actions had led Wubin to this state. She promised that justice would be served, and, if not, she was prepared to take matters into her own hands. Just then, Sonjin and Minsu walked into the room. Sonjin paused when he saw Wubin's mother, surprised that she hadn't left. He stated that he had assumed she would be gone by then, as he and Minsu were eager to see Wubin. She stood and looked at them, then gave them permission to stay. She expressed her gratitude to Sonjin for saving Wubin's life before walking out of the room. As soon as she left, Sonjin rushed to Wubin's bedside. He stood there for a moment, unable to believe that Wubin had truly made it. The thought of losing his best friend had nearly driven him to madness. He sat down beside the bed, joined by Minsu, and they both looked at Wubin in silence. It felt as if they hadn't seen him in years, and the weight of the moment settled over them like a thick fog. Breaking the silence, Sonjin took Wubin's hand and wished that he could somehow hear them. He urged him to do whatever it took to come back to consciousness. He reminded him of his strength and resilience, confident that he would eventually wake up and be with them again. Minsu nodded in agreement, adding that everyone was waiting for his return, and they couldn't wait to see him smile and talk again. Sonjin stood up and looked at Wubin's head. He noticed that his pink hair dye had almost faded and made a light-hearted remark about how Wubin needed to wake up and fix it. Minsu laughed softly, his heart warmed by the brief moment of levity. Soon after, Yuna entered the room. She stood by the door, frozen in place, unable to believe that she was finally seeing Wubin again. Her heart ached with the memory of how much she had missed him and how long she had longed for this moment. Without hesitation, she ran to his bedside and embraced him. Sonjin immediately pulled her away, telling her that her hug might worsen his injuries, which were not fully healed. Yuna turned to him, expressing her overwhelming feelings and explaining that she couldn't control herself. She moved closer to Wubin again, gazing at him with soft, tear-filled eyes. She wanted him to know that once he woke up, he wouldn't be able to get rid of her easily. She was going to follow him everywhere and never leave his side again. Minsu smiled at her words, noting how everyone seemed ready to fight for Wubin's time and attention once he recovered. The three of them shared a laugh, standing together in unity and hope, grateful to see Wubin, even if he was still in a coma.